Today we learned about systems of inequalities, and a system of inequalities is going to be two or more inequalities that are together. And remember, the solution to the inequalities is any point that is in both of the shaded regions, so it's not just in one of the shaded regions. It's important to review our symbols, so just remember that if you have a less than sign that's made with your left hand, it's going to be a dashed line and we're going to shade down. If you have a greater than sign, again, it's a dashed line and you're going to shade up. If you have less than or equal to, your line is solid. The reason it's solid is because it was equal to, so that part of it makes it solid. And then that less than part is going to tell us to shade down. And then lastly, our greater than or equal to is going to be, again, a solid line because we have this equal to underneath it, so it's solid. And again, we shade down because it is we shade up, because it's a greater than sign. So our greater than or less than tells us the direction to shade. If it's equal to, that tells us if it's going to be a dashed line or a solid line. So here we have two inequalities that have already been graphed for you, so a system, and we need to find three solutions. Remember, our solutions are going to be points that are in the shaded area, so they're going to be anything in the shaded portion. So if I'm looking for points in the shaded portion, then this would be a solution, which is the ordered pair -6, 0. And I could also say this is a solution, which is -8, -2, because again, it's in that double shaded area. Not just in one shaded area, it's in both of them. And lastly, I could say that this is a solution, -8, +4, because again, it's in that double shaded area. So my points that are not solutions are going to be points that are in the not double shaded part. So it's the not double shaded. So those could be points anywhere in this area. Any of this would be not solutions because all of this is the part where the graph is not doubly shaded. So all of this would be not solutions, and then all of this part here would be solutions. So solutions is in the part where they overlap. Non-solutions are everywhere else. So all of this would be the not. The pink is the solutions, the gray is the not solutions. So to give some specific points, this point here, which is the ordered pair 4, 0, would be not a solution because it's in the not double shaded part. This point here at 0, -4 is also not a solution. And then this point here, which is at -2, +4, is also not a solution. So anything in the double shaded part over here is going to be a solution. Any part in the non-double shaded part is going to be not a solution. Lastly, if you had to graph a system, then you need to actually graph each of the inequalities. So the first thing we do when we graph is we begin with our y-intercept, which in the first problem is a 1. So I'm going to put a point at 1. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my slope, which is my rise and my run. It's a +1/2, so directionally I'm going to go up and right because they're both positive, so I'm going to go up 1 and right 2. From my point that I already had, up 1 and right 2, and continue going up 1 and right 2. Or I can do the opposite of going up and right, which is to go down and left, so I can go back to my beginning and go down 1 and left 2. I can continue that pattern, and I'm going to connect my dots. Since my line is just a greater than, that means I'm going to use a dashed line on this. I'm going to use a dashed line. And then my inequality symbol is a greater than, so that means that I need to shade above my line. So I'm going to draw my arrows straight up from my line. So that tells me which part of the graph I need to shade. And then I'm going to color that portion in. So I've now graphed my first inequality. So I'm going to go through the exact same process and do the exact same thing for my second line. So my second line, the y-intercept was 4. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to begin at 4. My slope was -2/3. So directionally that tells me to go down 2 and right 3. So from my y-intercept I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3 and down 2 and right 3, and repeat that process again. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do the opposite, though, of going down and right. I'm going to go up and left. So from my y-intercept, go up 2 and left 3, and up 2 and left 3, and up 2 and left 3. And again, I'm going to connect my line. And because this is a less than symbol here, then I'm going to use a dashed line again. So I'm going to dash this line. And my less than symbol tells me that I need to shade down. So I'm going to go back to my line. I'm going to draw arrows straight down from my line that's already there. And again, then I'm going to color in that portion of the graph. So my solution is going to be the part of the graph where both of the shading occurred, which is this middle section here. This section here, which I'm actually going to color in a different color, I'm going to color gray, is going to be the part where my solutions are, because that's the part where we shaded, where both the graphs shading showed up. So if I'm looking for solutions and I need to find points that are in this solid area, so I could do, or in this double shaded part, so this would be a solution right here, which is the point -5, +3. Or this is a solution, which is the point -10, 0. And then 2 points that would not be solutions are 2 points that are not in the shaded area. So this would be a good one because it's not in the shaded area, 0, -5. Or I could do this point up here, which is 0, 9. Again, that's not in the shaded area.